Hi there, this is Jade Marginata at the MSU Horticulture Gardens, and today I'm going to show you how we divide our Sansevieria or snake plants. And none of these plants really need to be divided, but we're trying to propagate more for our houseplant sale. So any of the ones that have pups on them, we're going to divide. So like this one, this is a Sansevieria Honey Eye or a bird's nest snake plant. And this one had formed one nice little baby, so I just popped it right off and repotted the mama plant. And none of this potting mix is very old, so oftentimes you'll see me putting the old potting mix right back in the pot. And here's the little baby, and I'm just going to fill it up with some soil and move on to the next one. Not all of the snake plants have formed pups, but most of them have at least one or two. And here we have another Sansevieria Honey Eye. This is just a different cultivar. This is a kind of green brindle pattern. And this mama plant actually formed 4 babies for us, so it's produced quite a few propagules. And again, I'm just breaking those right off. It doesn't hurt the parent plant at all. And I'm just gonna repot the parent plant because it's gonna continue forming more plantlets for us. And then once this one's planted, I will pot up all the babies, each into their own pot. And as long as you have a good section of the underground stem with some roots coming off of it, it's usually enough that it will survive on its own. One of the things you want to keep an eye on when you pot up these baby plants is that you don't want to overwater them. They don't have a very big root system at this point, so any water that you put in there is going to sit in the soil for quite a while. Once the plant grows more roots, you can water a little bit more frequently or heavily, but for right now, you got to keep them kind of dry. Next, I'm moving on to Sansevieria Sayuri, and this is a variegated variety, kind of a similar color to moonshine, but it does have stripes in it. It's really pretty. The most challenging part is sometimes getting these out of the pot. The new plantlets can really push on the sides of the pot and make it hard to get off. And you can see on the outside of this root ball all these new little plantlets that have grown off of the main section of the plant. And I'm just going to snap those off again. If they won't come off just by hand, I'll use my pruners to cut somewhere along the underground stem and just kind of wiggle them out and try not to damage the original part of the plant too much. I got this plant maybe 5 or 6 months ago, and when I first got it, I divided it into 2, and since then you can see it's formed a lot of babies, and we're going to be able to make a lot more plants. And I think in total I got, out of the 2 original pots, I think I got about 18 pieces that I was able to remove. Some of them are big enough to plant on their own, but some of them need a buddy in order to fill the pot nicely. So now I'm just going to really quickly remove the rest of the babies from the first plant and then move on to the second pot and take all of those plantlets off as well. And here you can see on the left side are all of the new babies, and then on the right side are the original 2 mother plants. So I probably took about 50% away from each of the original pots. And now I'm gonna pot up all of the little plantlets that I broke off. These are 1-gallon pots, and again, just as long as there's a nice piece of root on the bottom, they should survive just fine on their own. You don't want to compact the soil too much, but make sure that you don't have any air pockets down in the bottom. And midway through potting up all those babies, I kind of ran out of soil, so here I am breaking up the clumps in a new bag of potting mix, and we have these nice rolling barrels that we can wheel around the head house and have potting mix wherever we need it. Don't want to forget the scoop. I've buried those so many times, and we just dump it right in. And we'll will just speed this up and show you how I potted up the rest of the plantlets. I think in all we ended up getting 14 new baby plants from those 2 mother plants, and here they all are.